The Tunguska explosion, a mystery that flattened 80 million trees. In 1908, an explosion rocked the Siberian forest with the power of 1,000 Hiroshima bombs. No crater was found, and to this day, scientists still debate what really happened. Was it a comet, an asteroid, or something even stranger? The Great Smog of London, 1952. A killer fog. In 1952, a thick, toxic fog covered London for 5 days, killing over 12,000 people. The smog was so dense that people couldn't even see their own feet. It was one of the worst air pollution disasters in history. The Boston Molasses Flood, a deadly wave of syrup. Imagine a 25-foot high wave of molasses rushing through the streets at 35 miles per hour. In 1919, a giant molasses storage tank exploded in Boston, flooding the streets with sticky, deadly syrup. It killed 21 people and destroyed buildings. And believe it or not, people say you can still smell molasses there today. The deadliest eruption that you've never heard of, Mount Tambora, 1815. Everyone talks about Pompeii, but did you know the deadliest volcanic eruption in history happened in Indonesia? In 1815, Mount Tambora erupted with such force that it wiped out 100,000 people and changed the Earth's climate. The ash blocked the sun, causing the year without a summer in 1816. Crops failed, temperatures dropped, and even Europe and North America suffered famine. The Lake Nyos disaster. A lake that killed 1,746 people overnight. Imagine going to sleep and never waking up because of a lake. In 1986, Lake Nyos in Cameroon suddenly released a massive cloud of carbon dioxide, suffocating 1,746 people and thousands of animals in their sleep. It was like an invisible killer sweeping through villages. Scientists now monitor killer lakes to prevent another disaster like this. The Halifax explosion, the largest accidental blast before nuclear bombs. In 1917, 2 ships collided in Halifax Harbor, and one of them was loaded with explosives. The resulting blast was so powerful that it leveled an entire district, shattered windows 50 miles away, and created a tsunami. It was the largest man-made explosion before nuclear bombs, killing nearly 2,000 people in an instant. The dancing plague of 1518, when people danced themselves to death. In the summer of 1518, dozens of people in Strasbourg suddenly started dancing non-stop, and they couldn't stop. Within days, the number grew to hundreds, and some even danced to their deaths from exhaustion. Was it mass hysteria, a mysterious disease, or something even stranger? The Black Hole of Calcutta, a night of horror. In 1756, 146 British prisoners were locked inside a tiny prison cell in Calcutta, India. The room was so small and overcrowded that by morning, only 23 people were still alive. The rest had died from suffocation and heat. It remains one of the worst cases of human suffocation in history. The Great Emu War, when humans lost a war against birds. In 1932, Australia declared war on giant birds. Yes, farmers were struggling with thousands of emus destroying their crops, so the government sent soldiers with machine guns to fight them. But guess what? The emus were too fast, too smart, and too organized. The army eventually gave up, making it one of history's weirdest military failures. The 1871 Peshtigo Fire, the deadliest wildfire in U.S. history. When people talk about great fires in history, they usually mention the Great Chicago Fire. But did you know that on the same day, an even deadlier fire raged through Peshtigo, Wisconsin? This firestorm burned so intensely that it created tornadoes of fire, killing over 1,500 people. It was the deadliest wildfire in U.S. history, yet barely anyone remembers it. The London beer flood, when a tsunami of beer destroyed a neighborhood. In 1814, a giant beer vat exploded in a London brewery, releasing a tidal wave of over 320,000 gallons of beer. The beer flooded the streets, destroying buildings and even drowning people. What was supposed to be a dream come true for beer lovers quickly turned into a nightmare. The 1904 General Slocum disaster, New York's forgotten tragedy. The Titanic is one of the most famous ship disasters in history. But have you heard about the General Slocum? In 1904, a steamboat carrying over 1,300 people caught fire near New York City. Panic and poorly maintained life vests led to over 1,000 deaths, making it one of the deadliest disasters in NYC history. Yet, almost no one talks about it today. The Black Death, a plague that killed 200 million. In the 14th century, the Black Death wiped out nearly half of Europe's population. The disease was so deadly that people died within days, and entire villages were left abandoned. Some cities even sealed themselves off, leaving the infected to die outside. The Hindenburg disaster, a fiery end to airship travel. In 1937, the massive Hindenburg airship caught fire while landing, exploding into flames in just 34 seconds. The disaster was so shocking that radio announcers could barely speak through their horror. The Great Chilean Earthquake, the most powerful earthquake ever. The 1960 Chilean earthquake was the strongest earthquake ever recorded, 9.5 on the Richter scale. The shaking lasted over 10 minutes, triggered tsunamis, and reshaped entire coastlines. Chernobyl disaster, 1986, Ukraine, USSR. April 26, 1986. The night that changed everything. A test at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant in Soviet Ukraine spiraled into an uncontrollable catastrophe. Reactor 4 exploded, sending a radioactive cloud into the sky. The blast released radiation 400 times more powerful than the Hiroshima bomb. Deadly particles spread across Europe. Thousands were exposed to lethal levels of radiation. Entire cities were abandoned, and life would never be the same again. The 1906 San Francisco earthquake, USA. On April 18, 1906, San Francisco was jolted awake by one of the most violent earthquakes in recorded history. The ground shook for less than a minute, but in that time, everything changed. Buildings toppled like dominoes. Gas lines burst, igniting a firestorm that raged for days. 80% of the city was reduced to rubble. Over 3,000 people lost their lives. Nevado del Ruiz volcano eruption, 1985, Colombia. On November 13, 1985, the Nevado del Ruiz volcano erupted in Colombia. But it wasn't lava that destroyed. Melting glaciers triggered a deadly lahar. A river of boiling mud raced down the mountain at 30 miles per hour, burying the town of Armero. 23,000 lives were lost in minutes. The Great Kanto earthquake, 1923, Japan. September 1st, 1923, Tokyo and Yokohama were shattered by a 7.9 earthquake. Buildings crumbled in seconds, but the true horror came after. Fires erupted across the cities, merging into a massive firestorm. In one place, 38,000 people were burned alive in minutes. Turkey's deadliest earthquake, the 1999 Izmit disaster. The 1999 Izmit earthquake in Turkey hit with a 7.4 magnitude, killing over 17,000 people and leaving hundreds of thousands homeless. The devastating tremor caused massive destruction, especially in Izmit, and was felt across neighboring regions, including Istanbul.